Hello and welcome to another instalment of Coffee Break QI. My name is Shelley Wreford. I am a Quality Improvement Advisor for Birmingham and Solihull Mental Health Foundation Trust, and I'm here to talk to you today about measures. This session is just a brief introduction to measures. There will be another Coffee Break QI video which looks a little bit more in depth at data over time and how to interpret run charts. But for today, the aims of the sessions will be why we measure in QI, what do we mean by measurement in QI, when to measure in QI, and using multiple measures in QI. Let's start with what is measurement in QI. The model for improvement was introduced in some of the first Coffee Break videos we showed you. It's a framework for developing, testing and implementing changes that lead to improvement. As such, the model for improvement forms a framework for QI projects. The model consists of 3 fundamental questions and iterative PDSA cycles to test changes. You may remember from one of the previous Coffee Break videos looking at SMART aims that once we've established a SMART aim in answer to question 1 of the model for improvement, we need to know how we're going to measure whether our project is helping us achieve this aim. This is where measurement comes in. Measurement is the answer to question 2 of the model for improvement and as such is fundamental to quality improvement projects. Measurement in QI is more than just a collection of concepts. It is a tangible, usually numerical, way of assessing whether the changes we are making are helping us reach the aim we've set out to achieve. When we talk about measurement in QI, we mean the collection of data. This data can be qualitative or it can be quantitative, but for the most part, it's usually numerical. The reason data in QI projects is numerical is that it can be plotted over time to track any changes that are happening as a result of the changes we are making in the confines of our project. Data for quality improvement projects doesn't need to be as rigorous as that collected for research, but it needs to be a little bit more rigorous than just simple, straightforward, organic local learning. QI measurement bridges the gap between the two. So why is measurement important in quality improvement projects? It is important to remember that although improvement nearly always requires change, not all changes are improvements. In quality improvement, measurement is first and foremost for learning, and as such is the vehicle for determining which changes are improvements and which aren't. The use of measurement for learning in quality improvement projects helps teams take action by providing the confidence about which changes are leading to improvements and which aren't. Measurement in this sense provides the robustness that opinion alone cannot achieve, a notion summed up nicely by Deming when he said that, without data, you're just another person with an opinion. So when should we be collecting data in our quality improvement projects? Rather than just at the beginning and at the end, data in quality improvement projects should be collected as often as possible. This regular data collection helps facilitate our understanding of what is happening to a system when we make changes to it. Supported through the use of PDSA testing, regular data collection helps improvement teams know which changes are effective, which aren't, and where adaptations to changes need to be explored and developed. So how many measures should you use in quality improvement projects? The first Coffee Break video we showed you explored the complexity of systems and what this means for quality improvement projects. We know that systems are complex, so it's very unlikely that there will ever be a single measure that could determine improvement to a system. Rather, multiple measures are usually necessary to discern whether the system as a whole is being improved. QI adopts 3 levels of measurement to facilitate learning during improvement efforts. These are outcome measures, process measures, and balancing measures. Collectively, these 3 levels of measurement are called a family of measures. Let's start with outcome measures. These link directly to the aim statement, as introduced in the previous Coffee Break video, which will often have a numerical target defined within it. Outcome measures help assess progress towards the project aim. There are usually 1 to 2 outcome measures per QI project, and these measures will be maintained throughout the life of the project. Let's look at a simple example aligned with the project concerned with weight loss. If the aim of the project was to lose 20% of one's body weight by June 2021, for example, a suitable outcome measure might be weight in kilograms. This data could be collected on a regular basis, for example weekly. Although you could simply measure weight at the beginning and at the end of a project like this, by measuring regularly throughout the lifespan of the project, you can better track progress and monitor which interventions or changes are proving to be more effective in helping you achieve your aim. Process measures. Now, process measures are typically linked to change ideas and PDSA cycles, and are therefore used to measure whether activity has been accomplished as planned. Although their link to the aim statement of a project may be less explicit than that of an outcome measure, process measures are still connected to the aim statement because they help teams understand whether progress is being made towards it. As such, they're sort of used to help refine changes over the lifespan of a project. Again, there are usually between 3 and 5 process measures per project, I should say. Again, using the example of the weight loss project, a PDSA or a change idea aligned with a project of this nature might be an exercise plan, for example. And a process measure connected to this PDSA could be total hours exercise per week. Let's look at balancing measures. Balancing measures help assess whether the system as a whole is improving as a result of the changes we are making. It helps us learn whether the improvements in one area may be having an unintended consequence in another. These unintended consequences could be positive or negative. Balancing measures help you keep an eye on these things just to check that things aren't going out of kilter as a result of you making changes to another part of the system. QI projects usually have between 1 to 2 balancing measures per project. Again, using the example of the weight loss project, if the aim was to lose 20% of one's body weight, a balancing measure of interest could be a happiness rating scale, for example. How is that affected by your efforts to achieve weight loss? Let's look at a family of measures in the context of a QI project in a healthcare setting. For example, reducing the average length of stay in seclusion on a PQ. An outcome measure for a project like this could be average length of stay in seclusion. This outcome measure would be data for this outcome measure would be collected for the length of the project as regularly as possible. Process measures for a project of this nature could be percentage of MDT reviews taking place on time, compliance with seclusion care plan standards. These ideas will be the change ideas associated with the project, so the process measures are fundamentally measuring these change ideas. Balancing measures for a project of this nature could be average length of stay post-seclusion or days between periods of seclusion. Again, these balancing measures are keeping an eye on the unintended consequences of making changes elsewhere in the system. So that's it. I just wanted to leave you with some top tips. Firstly, make sure you establish a clear family of measures at the beginning of your project. This will help keep your project on track and help you know in real time whether the changes you are making are helping you achieve your project aim. Try to develop measures from data that is already available to you. Healthcare organisations have an unbelievable amount of data. If you scratch the surface and ask around, chances are the data you want to collect is already being collected elsewhere. So harness that. Don't create more work for yourself where you don't need to. Collect data regularly. The more regularly you collect data, the more real-time information you'll be getting for your project, the sooner you'll be able to see whether the changes you are making are having an impact. And finally, remember, don't overdo it. Whilst measures are really important and crucial to quality improvement efforts, they're not the be-all and end-all. You cannot fatten a cow by weighing it. So that's it for our basic introduction to measures. If you want some more information about measures, then stay tuned for our next coffee break session, Interpreting Data Over Time. In the meantime, please feel free to contact us by email, on Connect, or through Twitter. Thank you for your time today. We hope to see you next time.